welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Nina.
And I am Mike, and welcome to our two-day article on a very interesting topic that we're going to be looking at and talking about. Here's a question in our title, which is great because it gets us thinking on this topic. And it says, is Al in the classroom helpful or harmful? Who's Al?
Al?
Is he a student? Is he one of the kids in the class?
I'm pretty sure it's not Al, but it's AI.
Oh, it's AI. Oh,
yes.
That makes more sense. I was like, why are we being mean to Al?
No.
He can be a nice guy. Of course, yes, it's AI. Is artificial intelligence, or AI, in the classroom helpful or harmful? That's good because, I mean, AI is going to affect life in so many ways. It already has.
Yes.
But we're going to be talking about AI used in education. Is it helpful or harmful? And here when we say in the classroom, I'm guessing we mean for the students.
Indeed.
Not just for the teachers. I mean, it could be helpful for the teachers or harmful, but more about the people who should actually be learning, the students.
Yeah. Let's
Interesting question.
find out.
Okay, you want to get right into our article? Let's find out. I imagine it might be a mix of the two. It could be good, it could be bad, but we'll find out some of the different topics and issues in the article. So yeah, let's get to it.
Artificial intelligence is changing the way we live and work, including how students learn. Many students around the world use AI-powered tools to complete their homework. With a few clicks, they can generate essays, solve math problems, or summarize readings. Some see this as a helpful resource, but others raise serious concerns. Many critics worry that relying too much on AI leads to a decrease in real learning. If a computer writes your paper or answers your questions immediately, are you actually building your own skills?
All right, so is AI in the classroom helpful or harmful? That's the question we're asking. That's the question we want you guys to think about. And that is the question we are hopefully going to answer. I don't think we're going to end up with a yes or no answer here, but we're going to look at it from very many different angles or perspectives. So let's find out some of the issues about AI in the classroom.
All right, let's get into it. AI, or artificial intelligence, is changing the way we live and work, including how students learn. Many students around the world use AI-powered tools to complete their homework. Wow, okay, so I believe we come from a generation where we didn't have AI while we were at school. So everything had to be done by ourselves. But now that I'm working, my company will always ask me to use AI to get some ideas or to help make the working process faster or more convenient. Yeah, so I can see how students would be tempted to use AI to help them. But I wonder if that's actually helpful.
Yeah, working is about being productive, getting things done, and hopefully doing it without costing the company too much money. But none of those things really are about learning and being a student.
True.
As it says, with a few clicks, they, AIs, can generate essays, solve math problems, or summarize readings. This is the kind of work students should be doing, but they're not doing it to make their boss happy or to make the school or their company more money. They're doing it to learn. That's why you write essays. That's why you do math. And that's why you read books and then write about them in a shorter form, summarizing reading. So some see this as a helpful resource, but others raise serious concerns. It can be helpful. It can save the students time to do other things, but there are definitely serious concerns or big things that people worry about.
Indeed. I feel like with that, they wouldn't really be challenging themselves or making their brain more active.
It's kind of like having the answers to the test already.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll do well on the test, but you won't have learned anything, and that's kind of the point of school.
Yeah.
But yes, one of those things that students aren't really big fans of, maybe, is doing a reading and then summarizing it. This is that work where the teacher says, here's a book or a chapter or something, you have to read it, and then write about it afterwards. Tell me what you learned in a shorter form. And that's the important part of summarizing something. You take an idea or a story or whatever, and then you repeat it or you give it back in a shorter, smaller kind of form. The main ideas without all of the extra stuff there. So if I was summarizing, I don't know, the movie Titanic, I would say a young poor guy gets on a boat, meets a rich girl, the boat sinks and a lot of people die.
Yeah.
Summarizing the movie Titanic there.
Okay.
For example, can you summarize the topic of the article in one sentence? So you have to read a big long article about global warming or something, and then you have to boil it all down or summarize it in just one sentence, the main important idea that you got from what you just read. All right, let's go over to Hanny. She's great at summarizing all the wonderful grammar that we need to speak English like a champion. So let's check out what she's got to tell us.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。在这2天的课程中，我们要从不同视角观点来探讨 AI 人工智慧在课堂上是助力还是阻力。我们先补充一下 Mike 老师有提到 perspective 这个字 Perspective 这个名词表示观点、角度或看法。好，那课文提到世界各地有许多学生使用 AI 驱动的工具来完成作业，只需要点击几下就能生成文章、解决数学问题、总结阅读材料等等。那有些人认为这是有用的资源，可是有些人提出严重的担忧。先来看单字 summarize 这个动词表示做总结、概括或是概述。Mike 老师这时候有提到 boil something down。Boil something down 就可以表达浓缩、简化。好，那这边还有2个重点。第一个是要来比较一下 homework 跟 assignment， 它们都可以用来指作业。那差别在于 homework 是强调家庭作业的概念，通常是当天或是短期内要完成的练习。assignment 则是强调被指派的任务，可能需要比较长的时间规划与完成，那不限于在家完成。我们这边就造2个例句。I have a lot of homework today， 就是我今天有很多回家作业。This assignment requires us to design our own website。这项作业要求我们设计自己的网站。好，那第2个重点是 see 加受词加 as 加上形容词或名词，这可以表达将什么什么视为怎么样，认为什么什么是什么什么的。好 ，see 在这边是表达视作、认为。举例来说 ，Jake's coworkers see him as reliable。Jake 的同事认为他值得信赖。好，那接着回到课文中。
Okay, so AI is here, and yes, students can use it to get their work done faster, have help with their homework, and that can, of course, be great for the students at that time. But is it really great all the time or overall? Let's find out.
Okay, many critics worry that relying too much on AI leads to a decrease in real learning. Exactly what we were talking about. A decrease means to make something smaller or less. So you are learning less at school if you're constantly using AI to help you with your reports or your homework or even your tests. All right, for example, some studies found a decrease in air pollution during the summer. Okay.
Decrease meaning getting lower or smaller in number.
Okay.
Right? So there will be less learning with more AI being used, which,
Indeed.
Kind of makes sense.
And the opposite for decrease would be increase,
Yes.
which would be to make something more, right?
That's right. And we can use this both both as a noun and a verb, can't we?
Yes.
A decrease or it decreases. It gets smaller in number. Here's an example. It says, if a computer writes your paper or answers your questions immediately, are you actually building your own skills? I mean, in the same way, if you had an older brother or sister who will do your homework for you, I don't think anyone would say, oh yeah, I'm learning a lot by paying my brother to do my writing for me. And it's this kind of the same thing with AI. And yes, even when you're doing research, when you're looking up facts and information, that is a form of learning. If the AI is doing it all for you, you're not really doing much, are you? Not to learn, especially. Let's go over to Hanny, see what she has to say, and then we'll be back.
许多批评者担心过度依赖 AI 会导致真正学习能力的下降。如果电脑替你写论文，或者是都能立刻回答你的问题，那你真的有在培养自己的能力吗？来看单字 decrease 当名词表示减少、降低，我们就常常会用 a decrease in something 来表达某事物的减少。那它的相反词是 increase， 就可以表达增加。我们继续滑课文中。
Thank you, Hanny. Now let's take a quick break and we will see you at part 2 of this article.
Some teachers say no. They argue that struggling through problems is part of learning and that AI can stop students from developing important thinking abilities. Others add that using AI to finish assignments is a form of cheating because it hides what students really know. In addition, if students turn in work they did not create themselves, how can teachers give the right advice to help them improve? There is also the issue of inequality. Students in remote areas or from low-income families may not have the same access to AI tools. These students might get worse scores and be seen as less intelligent. It also makes the debate about cheating even more complex.
All right, we are back. So right before the break there, we had a good question talking about using AI as a student. The question was, if a computer writes your paper or answers your questions immediately, in other words, if your computer kind of does your homework and the hard stuff for you, are you actually building your own skills? Are you actually learning anything useful and valuable? Now, the students, maybe the lazy students, and I'm not saying I wouldn't think that way if I was a student. They'd be like, oh yeah, I'm learning a lot. I read my paper before I give it in, even if I didn't write it, and yeah, I'm learning. But I think if you're honest, you'd have to say, not very much. What about the teachers? What do they say to that question?
Okay, so some teachers say no. Okay, so they're not actually learning or building their skills. They argue that struggling through problems is part of learning and that AI can stop students from developing important thinking abilities. That is very true. You know, while you're writing and struggling, like, oh, how should I make this next sentence better? How should I summarize the story? You're actually building your skills. And with AI doing everything for you, yeah, you're never going to actually get those skills, are you?
Right. It's kind of like taking a helicopter to the top of that mountain that you're planning to climb. I'm climbing that mountain. You took a helicopter and flew to the top. It's about walking up the mountain and using your muscles and having that experience and learning things as you go along.
Yeah.
And if you kind of just jump to the end result, you're not really getting the benefit, are you? Others add that using AI to finish assignments is a form of cheating because it hides what students really know. Kind of like if you have the answers to the test, it might look like you know everything, but you don't. And in fact, you didn't learn any of the information you should have, even if it looks like you did. It only looks that way because you kind of cheated.
Yeah. In addition, if students turn in work they did not create themselves, how can teachers give the right advice to help them improve?
True.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do it themselves, and usually it's kind of too perfect when they hand it in. So there is no space for them to learn and improve. However, I do know that nowadays teachers can find out if it's AI. I think you can ask AI if this was written by AI or something like that. I believe there is a tool. So hopefully that has helped teachers find out if students are cheating with AI.
Okay,
right?
so that can definitely help the teachers. But yeah, that's a really good point. We make mistakes. No one likes to, but at least when we make mistakes, we're learning where our problems are. I mean, it's the same way if you went to a doctor and you had certain pain in a certain part of your body, and the doctor said, does it hurt there? And you're like, no, it doesn't hurt. You're not going to get the help you need, right?
Indeed.
You might have a perfect medical report, but if you're actually sick, you're never going to really know where and how to fix it. So you're actually kind of hurting yourself in that way.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Hanny one more time.
有些老师认为努力解决问题是学习的一部分，那么 AI 可能会阻碍学生发展重要的思考能力。使用 AI 来完成作业，老师就没办法了解到学生到底懂了哪些，也没办法给予正确适当的建议来帮助他们进步了。文中用到 struggling through problems 来表达努力解决问题，那么 struggle through 加名词就可以表示艰难的完成，努力克服困难去做某事。好，接华课文中。
All right, we are back looking at the topic of AI in the school classroom. We've already learned that it's a great way to get your work done, but it's also a great way to get that work done without actually learning anything. So what is their benefit? How do you get a benefit? How is that good for you? Here's another aspect to it, another angle or perspective. This is an interesting one. There is also the issue of inequality. This is an interesting issue. When I talked about angles or perspectives, there's lots of different ways to look at complicated things. And a big issue, a big complicated thing, a big problem in society like global warming or poverty or homeless people who have nowhere to live, there are many issues. There's many different sides to that, many different parts of it, many different things to think about and consider when we try to understand the big picture, the whole thing. So an issue is basically an idea or something that we're talking about, a topic of some kind, often as part of a bigger idea or a bigger topic. For example, the company held a meeting to address safety issues. Okay, so things about safety in the workplace, not financial issues about the money the company's making, not employee issues about hiring and firing and holidays for the workers. Those are different issues. This was about safety. So what is the issue of inequality, which generally means rich and poor people?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what's
in this
the
case
issue
is
there?
Financial inequality, right?
Yeah.
So students in remote areas or from low-income families may not have the same access to AI tools.
That's a really good point.
Okay, yeah, maybe they don't have the internet, or maybe you have to pay for the AI tools that other people can pay for,
And they don't have the money to pay.
Yeah. So they're in remote areas. Remote means far away in this case.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's true. If you live in a faraway place on top of a mountain or out in the countryside, your internet service might not be good enough to really use AI. I think we have an example sentence, right, for remote.
So the small village is remote and hard to reach. Okay, so these people or these students may live in a remote area, so a faraway area, and they may not have access to Wi-Fi or internet, right?
Exactly. High-speed internet and things like that, which you'll need to use AI, which of course rich kids living in the city, they would have no problem getting access to that kind of thing. And access is basically just a way in, a way to be able to use something. When we talk about internet access, you probably have a contract with a phone company or something like that. And once you sign up and put in the right code numbers, you can get 4G or 5G or whatever on your phone. You have access. But if you and your phone go to a foreign country it won't really work because you have access in Taiwan, but now you're in Brazil. You have to find another way, like Wi-Fi, to get access to the internet. Now we can use it in a more real way. Codes or key cards or PIN numbers will give you access to your home or your bank account or your money or something like that. A way in. Not always by walking in, like a door gives you access to a room, or it can just sometimes be, yes, a way of using something. Here's one. Hugo didn't have access to his bank account while abroad. I guess the ATM machines in this other country don't work the same way they do at home. How inconvenient for him.
Indeed.
All right, let's get back to our article talking about students who have issues with getting access or maybe don't have the money to use AI like other students. It says these students, these poorer students or the students who live far away, these students might get worse scores and be seen as less intelligent. They get lower scores. Oh, they're not as smart. No, they're just not using AI to do their homework like other kids do. It also makes the debate about cheating even more complex. So this is a different issue. What is cheating? If you can get the computer to do your homework, is that cheating? Well, some would say yes, but if everyone's cheating, is it cheating? That's why it's complex or complicated. All right, a lot of things to think about there, but first, let's go over to Henny.
那课文接着谈到不平等的问题，偏远地区或者是低收入家庭的学生可能无法获得同样使用 AI 工具的机会，那这些学生可能因而得到比较差的成绩，被视为不够聪明。好，来看单字 issue 这个名词表示议题、问题 ，remote 是形容遥远的、偏远的。Access 这个名词表示使用或取得点点点的机会或是权利，也可以表达使用权。我们就常常用 have access to something 去表达可以使用或查看某事物的机会或权利。好，那我们接着回到课文中。
Okay, now let's review the article and we will see you tomorrow where we cover part 2 of Is AI helpful or harmful in the classroom?
Or maybe we should just get AI to do our jobs.
I mean, you actually could nowadays with the videos.
Don't say that out loud. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Artificial intelligence is changing the way we live and work, including how students learn. Many students around the world use AI-powered tools to complete their homework. With a few clicks, they can generate essays, solve math problems, or summarize readings. Some see this as a helpful resource, but others raise serious concerns. Many critics worry that relying too much on AI leads to a decrease in real learning. If a computer writes your paper or answers your questions immediately, are you actually building your own skills? Some teachers say no. They argue that struggling through problems is part of learning and that AI can stop students from developing important thinking abilities. Others add that using AI to finish assignments is a form of cheating because it hides what students really know. In addition, if students turn in work they did not create themselves, how can teachers give the right advice to help them improve? There is also the issue of inequality. Students in remote areas or from low-income families may not have the same access to AI tools. These students might get worse scores and be seen as less intelligent. It also makes the debate about cheating even more complex.
最后，我们来复习今天课文里的单字文法。单字的部分有 summarize。动词表示做总结、概括或概述 ，decrease 当名词表示减少、降低 ，issue 名词表示议题、问题 ，remote 是形容遥远的、偏远的 ，access 这个名词表示使用或取得点点点的机会或权利，也可以表达使用权。文法的部分，我们第一个学到 homework。跟 assignment 都可以表达作业，差别在于 homework 强调家庭作业的概念 ，assignment 是强调被指派的任务。第二个重点是 see 加受词加 as 加上形容词或名词，可以表达将什么视为点点点，认为什么是点点点的。好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Hey, it's Kiwi on the street. I'm Kiki. And I'm Winnie. And today we are going to be going through the different types of bags.
There are lots of different bags for different occasions. Now, do you know how to say all of them? You might have some of them, but what are they called?
We have a fanny pack. This is a little bit controversial, or not controversial, but people kind of used to make fun of it because it looks a little funny because you don't wear it on your back, you don't wear it on your arm, you just wear it right in your lower belly area. It's kind of like a kangaroo. I personally love a fanny pack, especially for traveling because it's right there, you can access it, especially as a woman, you don't have pockets all the time.
Yeah, but it's different from a crossbody bag.
Yes.
Yeah, a crossbody bag.
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
This would be a crossbody because you can wear it across your body, hence the name. But this one, good old fanny pack. Won't let you down.
The last one is,
oh yes, I almost forgot this.
These are very popular and very useful. It's a tote bag.
I love a tote bag.
And some people like collecting tote bags. Yes, so this is something that you can use it when you go to school. You can use it when you go to the office. You can use it when you go shopping.
It's customizable. You can put whatever photo you want on there. You can get it at a lot of gift shops nowadays to remember your time there. Yeah. So now you know all the different names for a bag.
Now you know all the different names for the different types of bags. So when you talk to your friends about it, you'll know what to say.
That's all for today. Remember to follow us on Instagram, send us a DM or an email if there's something you want to say in English, but you just don't know how. Kiki, any last words?
You have enough totes.
Oh, but I want to buy some more. Kiwi later!